All right, first and foremost, thank you again, or thank you in general for purchasing meals from Ernest at Home. We really, really, really appreciate it during this time, especially around the holidays. It's really an honor to get to cook for you for your holidays. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I just want to show you through how to do all this. It's all really, really, really straightforward. This is one of the easier meals we've done. There's a lot of prep work that has gone into this, but the back end is very easy to where all that prep work will pay off. So I'm going to be doing a short rib Wellington. The squash Wellington is going to follow the same exact technique and procedure of how to finish it. So I have a short rib Wellington here. Open it up. You've got a beautiful Wellington with lettuce on top of it, and it's already on parchment paper. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I do not have a convection oven because I live in a small apartment and I don't have the greatest appliances. But if you have an oven with convection, I would actually suggest using convection on this. You'll want to go 400 degrees full fan. That'll give you, it'll cook faster and give you, just a really even caramelization on this quicker than it will in this. I am thinking in a regular oven that this is going to take about 30 to 32 minutes. I think with a convection oven it will take 25 minutes. Okay? So I'm going to grab, I'm going to use a transfer tray to bake it on. You can use a sheet tray, whatever you want. And all you have to do is pick up your parchment paper. Make sure it's not stuck to the sides. If it is stuck to the sides, just pry it away a little. And these have already been brushed with egg wash 4 times, so you don't have to do any of that at home. It's just completely ready to go as it is right here. So before I started this video, I actually already preheated my oven, so I'm just going to go straight away into that oven. I'm going to start checking it after about 25 minutes, 20-25 minutes. Alright, so the Wellington's been in for about 15 minutes. What we're going to want to do now, I'm going to bring it out of the oven to show it to you. So we can see the lattice is starting to caramelize really, really well, but if you get up close to it, you can tell the puff that's underneath it is still raw. So it's definitely got some time to go. But however you had it in the oven, rotate it 180 degrees so we're moving it around so it caramelizes evenly. I'm going to let that go for another 10 minutes and then we'll check on it again. Alright, so our Wellington's been in there for about 30 minutes. I'm going to pull it out and show it to you where it's at. So it's starting to get really, really close. Really nice dark caramelization all over. And inside we can feel this pastry. It's really puffing and starting to get cooked all the way through. I'd say this probably has another 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, something like that. So we're gonna get that to where it's really nice and golden brown on the outside. Oops. It's really nice and golden brown on the outside, but you don't need to worry about the meat on the inside. It's a short rib that's already been cooked for 48 hours. So it's gonna be, you're gonna be able to slice it really evenly or really easily, but it's gonna be really, really tender for you. So we'll give this another 3-4 minutes, something like that, and then we'll check back again. Okay, so it's been about 4 more minutes in there, so we're at about 33-34 minutes, somewhere right in there, and I think it's really, really nice. And I'll remind you, this is without convection. If you're using convection and you're doing about 400 degrees with a full convection, this should probably take about 25 minutes. So for me, this is done. The pastry I can tell is nice and cooked. It's caramelized. Inside of the lattice is nice and caramelized. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and take it off the tray that it's on and sit it on my cutting board to rest while we heat up the rest of the meal. So to finish the rest of the meal, we're going to start with your potato. You're going to open this box and you're going to see you're going to have 3 slices of the potato mille. So I have a cast iron pan. I'm going to turn it on high. You don't have to use a cast iron pan. If you just want to use a regular steel pan, you can do that. But we're just going to sear one side of this really deeply to serve once we slice this. So while the pan heats up, I'm going to go in. I'm just using cooking oil. It's just vegetable oil. I'm going to go in probably 3-4 tablespoons of oil and let that heat up. While our pan's heating up, I've got the cream spinach. You can either heat this up in a pot or you can just put it in a microwave. I'm going to heat it up in a pot. So you're going to open it up and then you're just going to dump it into the pot. If you put it in the microwave, I'd probably say 3 to 4 minutes will get this sufficiently hot. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on a low heat. Okay? So right on here, start on high, put it on low just to slowly heat up because our potatoes are going to take a couple minutes. Ideally, this is probably going to rest for 8 minutes before you slice into it. So our cast iron with the oil in it is almost there. And we've got our spinach heating up. In the spinach here, we made a Mornay, which is a derivative of bechamel to bechamel cheese. This one has Boursin cheese and Parmesan cheese in it. And we took that Mornay and then we steamed some spinach and we pureed the steamed spinach into it. So that's why your cream is green as well as the spinach. I think it just kind of carries that flavor of the spinach throughout the whole thing and just gives it like a whole other layer. I think it's really, really nice. I really love this stuff. And one thing I will say is as you're heating up, take a little bite of it because as we made this today, but as things sit, the salt levels in them vary. So you might just want to put a pinch of salt into it, not much, just bring it back to life. So our pan's nice and hot. I'm going to bring our potatoes over here. And pick which side you want to do. Doesn't matter, just use the one that seems fuller. And we're going to drop them in our pan. Okay? So these potatoes are made by slicing russets or Yukons, really peeling them and then slicing them really thin, and then stacking them up in a pan and baking them in an oven until they're nice and tender. And then you take them out of the oven and then you apply pressure on top while they cool down in a refrigerator overnight. So what that does is all the starch in the potato kind of binds the whole thing. So you end up with this terrine of thinly sliced potatoes that are super unctuous and tender, but I really like searing them on one side because it gives you that caramelized potato flavor on one side. So you have that on top, and then the bottom is just going to be this really, really tender, slow-cooked potato. One of my favorite ways to eat potatoes. But I will say, because all the starch in this, when you first go into your pan, it's going to stick to the pan. Don't worry about that. Just kind of keep an eye on it. I have it on high right now. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lower that heat to a low medium. And I'm just going to kind of let it ride. You don't, whenever things stick to a pan, you don't want to like get in there and really jab at them or anything, because when they're ready to release from the pan, it'll release easily. You can get in, you can feel it, you can see the edges. If you think your edges, see like this one's already starting to release from the pan. If you think your edges are getting too dark too quickly, lower the heat. You can always add, you can never take away. So these are coming along nicely. Our spinach is heating up real slowly here. I will say with this spinach, I wouldn't heat this over a high heat. You just don't want to scorch any of the dairy that's in there or anything. So our potatoes are going, our spinach is heating up. You have sauce à poivre for your short rib Wellington. If you got a squash Wellington, you have a pastrami mustard our pastrami spice mustard sauce that we made, and you want to heat it up the same way. So I'm gonna crack the lid of my sauce, and since I've got some stuff going on here, I'm gonna use the microwave to heat this up. I'm gonna put it in there for 1 minute and 30 seconds. The sauce for the short rib, veal stock that's crushed down really, really far, skimmed the whole way. There's some tomato product in it, onion, garlic, and then we finish it with a bit of cream, and then green peppercorn, Szechuan peppercorn, black peppercorn, white peppercorn, and red peppercorn. So there's a lot of different flavors in there, really, really nice. While all that's heating up, we're gonna start to plate, okay? We've got our crumble, we've got our dressing, and we have our California chopped salad. So in order to finish this, I'm grabbing a mixing bowl. Other two potatoes are starting to loosen up. I've just got them on a low heat, and they're gonna release when they're ready. We're gonna take our salad, we're gonna dump the whole thing in there. I love this thing. There's 6 or 7 different types of lettuces, every single vegetable we could find at the market. It's really, really fantastic. I'm gonna start by just seasoning it with a little bit of just kosher salt. A minute and a half was perfect. That sauce is hot. So we've seasoned this with a little bit of kosher salt. I'm gonna hit it with some pepper, just because I really like pepper in salads. And then we've got our dressing here. It's a ranch dressing, tons of different types of herbs, some raw garlic, some fried shallots, and then there's togarashi in here, which adds a nice little bit of heat. You're probably, excuse me, you're gonna want to use this whole thing for this salad. It's portioned out pretty nicely. And you're just going to pour it around the edges of the bowl. We've already seasoned our salad with salt and pepper. So all we need to do is just kind of stir that dressing into our salad. This is such a great time of year for a salad like this, with beets and all the different brassicas and roasted squash and pomegranate seeds and grapes, and it's just really delicious. So as this comes together, we want to taste just a little bit of it. It's delicious. We're going to take this and we're going to put it in a serving bowl, okay? Just like this. Big, hearty, nice salad. Go along with everything else. Okay? So we've got our salad in our bowl. I made a little bit of a mess here, sorry. Then we're going to take our crumble. There's nori in here, there's crushed up fried potatoes, there's fried garlic, there's sesame seed, flax seed, just a sunflower seed, a whole mix of everything. And we're just going to sprinkle this over the top. Just gives you a lot of nice crunchy texture to go along with all the other textures in this salad. So you can see we have our California chopped salad with everything seed on top. So I'm going to sit this right here. And we can see over here that our spinach is getting hot, our potatoes are looking really nice. These potatoes I just slid my knife, or my palette knife, right below it. They look really, really beautiful. They're probably about 2 minutes away. And this is, at this point, has been resting for about 8 minutes. It's really nice. We can feel the shell on it. The bottom is caramelized, which is an important part of this. Make sure your bottom is caramelized. If it's not, you can put it back in for a little while longer. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these potatoes out of the pan and transfer them to a plate. So just be careful, obviously the pan's hot. That one needs to go just a little bit longer. So 2 of my potatoes are done and one of them needs another minute or so. While that one finishes, we'll have these here. and we can go ahead and take our spinach that's hot. Like I said, make sure you taste it before you put it in the bowl to serve. It's delicious. That spinach still has a lot of texture. It's really nice. And then we're just going to go right into a serving bowl with this. I love spinach. It tastes like what green food should taste like. It's just really delicious. Okay, so we have our cream spinach. Okay, and then our last potato is ready as well. Okay, so we can take these potatoes and we're going to put them on a plate just like such. You don't have to do it like this. I think it looks nice. And then in your bag, you also have something labeled finishing salt, which we're going to take a pinch of, and we're going to finish these potatoes on top with some nice crunchy salt. Okay. And because I like black pepper, I'm going to finish this with some black pepper on it too. So we have our potatoes here, we have our cream spinach, we have our salad. So lastly, we're going to slice into this beef Wellington. Okay? So you're going to want to trim your ends when you're ready to serve it. In this video, I'm just going to kind of show you. You want to, if you have a serrated knife, it's probably best to use a serrated knife, but you don't want to apply any pressure when you cut into this with a serrated knife. Just kind of rest it on top and let the knife do the work. Using a straight knife like this, just a regular chef knife, you want to make sure it's very sharp, because otherwise you're going to crush it and kind of mess it up. But, you know, I'm going to cut this in half just to kind of show you the middle, okay? So, but like I said, I'm not pushing down at all. I'm slicing and letting the knife do all the work, okay? So you can see this is just super beautiful. We've got pastry that's cooked all the way around. Inside of that is the caraway crepe. And then inside of that is a mushroom duxelle that was seasoned with Dijon mustard and a bunch of pastrami spices. And then we have our short rib that we've cooked at a really low temperature for 48 hours that has been brined in a pastrami brine. So, you know, you can go back and slice as thin or as thick as you want. I think probably out of this, 4 slices would be a really nice serving. But just make sure when you get back down to the end, you're going to trim off this end piece here, because it's a bit thicker and you're going to have a little bit of undercook in it. But then you can just slice this in half and then slice this in half, and you have a beautiful holiday Wellington. I once again thank you for ordering from Ernest at Home. I really appreciate it, and I hope you really enjoy this. Thank you. So one final thought is I forgot to put it on the plate and put the sauce on it because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to slice this one in half. Once again, not pushing down. I'm letting the knife do all the work. Okay? So we're going to take our slice of Wellington here, and another slice of Wellington here, and I've got the rest that I'm going to put on the plate. Our sauce is hot. It's been heated up in the microwave. We just kind of want to stir it together, and just like everything else, when you take this out, you're going to get this like really intense aroma of peppercorn, because there's 5 or 6 different types of peppercorn in here. So just like anything else, want to taste it. I think it's delicious. You want to taste it before you put it on the plate, or you can just serve this on the side. I'm going to go ahead, because I'm going to eat this now, and kind of drizzle it on my meat. Just like such. And you have a holiday dinner there. Thank you.